till now. So, yeah, I feel sorry for Northwood. They've had a lot of injuries as we see them take the field now. Just speaking to Grant Bashford, he says every weekend they're fielding a different side, so that's always difficult.
How much of an influence will the importance of their Old Boys Day have on Keegan Sparks and his Chargers? Because they will know they have got a very tough assignment here at home, but they will want to make their Old Boys proud here at Northwood today. But Kearsney is a tough assignment, but that big crowd, all the Old Boys in, they've had a weekend of festivities, of reunion, of golf days, etc. And maybe, just maybe, Northwood may be able to lift themselves this afternoon against the mighty Kearsney College.
Yeah, and there we see our Afrikaans colleagues, Benny and John. We're sitting here in the main stand, and like you mentioned, Brett, it is a bit chilly here in the shade. It's not normal for Durban.
So what breeze there is, and there really isn't much. It's just slightly, I think, in the face of Northwood, who will be kicking off in the first half. The referee is Renier Vermeulen, and we're about to get this FNB Classic Clash underway through the boot of Lars van der Meijden. Nice high hang time. Beneath it is Josh van Vuren, and away come Kearsney. Scrum half Brendan Forster, the carrier as you'd expect. Early doors is Tristan Dixon, just trying to make a statement. And Kearsney keeping the ball in hand, although they're just outside their 22. They look polished, they look organised. And there's the pick and drive. Dixon is the support man on this occasion. Scrum half is Forster, he's waiting for it, spins it back to Cameron Ritchie, and he thumps downfield and he finds space. Back is the diminutive number 8, Viwe Makahula, and he sets off on a run. A looping pass outside him as Jaden Stevens toes one through. Falling back on it is Kian War for Kearsney College, just inside Northwood territory. That's a silly penalty to give away early doors, and down the short side they go. This could be an early try for Kearsney. Just caught and knocking it on is the Kearsney scrum half, Brendan Forster, but that was a really telling break. Northwood stopped, expecting the penalty to be given, advantage played, and they nearly paid the ultimate penalty.
Yeah, no, I think it was Luwazi Mgadi who got back there to make the try-saving tackle. Good tracking back from him. Yeah, we see the break from young Brendan Forster. Great eye for a little gap on the blind then. Just pulling up short. Good effort from him.
So a defensive scrum for Northwood. Inside the first 2 minutes, they will need a solid base here. Jason Fury is the scrum half. How will these front rows pack down? You see Kearsney with a fairly substantial weight advantage. That's a decent base for the home side. In fact, they get on a bit of a drive. Spun back to JC van Kempen, but hangs in the wind. Now, certainly this breeze in this first half may play a role, Butch, because it's quite a stiff one, growing stiffer all the time, that Northwood are playing into.
Yeah, and we'll have to see as the game goes along how well Kearsney do use that wind, especially in this first half. It's always nice to peg the opposition back in their 22.
Josh van Vuren to feed the line-out. The tall figure of Ryan Jackson claims comfortably on the 22, and they set up the rolling maul. This is a polished beginning by Kearsney. Away it goes to Van Vuren. He flings it back in field. This could be an early score for the visitors. What a blow that would be for the home side. Here they come. They've shown good patience. Forster using the big men outside him. Is it Van Noordwijk? He's over. Is he held up? Seems to have been held up short, but there's an air of inevitability about proceedings now. And down, and the try is scored by Cameron Ritchie. And inside 3 minutes, Kearsney get on the board. And they have full value for that early score.
Yeah, and Cameron Ritchie can thank his forwards. They had a good set-piece move from the line-out, straight from the training field. And we'll see Joshua van Vuren break through. And then it was good patience from them. They were close to the try line. They didn't try anything silly. They had the big runners coming, and it was a great, courageous play from Cameron Ritchie, taking that nice and flat and crashing over for the first try for Kearsney.
James Tedder, as Butch said, the Tull Schools representative, also wears the same representative mantle for the summer sport, cricket. He's going to have a relatively simple conversion to put Kearsney out by 7 early doors. There's the strike. No problem at all for Tedder. And that is the best possible start for the visitors. 7 points to 0, they lead after 4 minutes.
That's a good way to keep the old boys here at Northwood quiet.
Straight back to the beer tent they go. Van der Meyden gets good hang time underneath it. There's no real chasers though. Forster takes, finds Dixon. He's a big fella as the flank, and he brushes through the first tackle before turning and presenting well. Forster, away they come. This is the try scorer, Ritchie. They do like to keep the ball in hand, Duquesne, but they've lost it on that occasion. That was useful defence by Northwood, and they've left the ball there. No scrum off in attendance. That was poor protection, but they'll come back for the advantage, and Northwood will have a scrum.
Now Kearney not using that wind. They're trying to keep the ball in hand, and that is the risk. You can turn it over in your half and give Northwood a good attacking position, yeah?
So right in front of the Northwood learners.
Crouch. Lift up front.
They need to show heart today. They need to strike back early, get some points on the board following the concession of that Kearney try.
Bind.
Referee Vermeulen barking out his instructions, which are not obeyed.
There's no pre-engage on you guys, right? You have to have a gap. Set it up.
They will try once again. Scrum off, Jason Fury.
Crouch.
It's very small number 8 and Viwe Makahula.
Safe.
Nippy figure, but normally you see ranging figures at the back of a scrum. Look at the size of him. There's almost nothing of him.
He's definitely not a line-out option, I don't think. But yeah, he must have a big heart, courageous. Body that size to be playing in the loose forwards. He must really get stuck in.
Crouch.
So they will set once again.
Bind. Set.
Happier now, referee Vermeulen. He gives Fury the call, and the Northwood scrum stands firm despite the lack of the weight. Van Kampen up to Van der Meyden, who gets past the first set of tackles, but Kearney defence shows good resolve, and Northwood will have to set and go again. This is Van Kampen, the Dutch exchange student, and he's been turned over as he tried to keep it close. Good defence from Kearney. And will they use the win now through the boot of Tedder? Back to him. He thumps away to the far side, and off a Northwood fingertip, and Guardia it is, who perhaps ill-advisedly try to keep it in, and he's given away the line out inside Northwood territory.
Yeah, I'm sure that ball was passed back into the 22, so it might have been a good option for him to leave it, but he was quite a way down the field, so it was hard for him to see that it had been passed back.
So all the momentum with the visitors, Van Vuren. This time the tower is Meyer. Up in the air it goes from Ritchie. That is a mighty climbing one. Jaden Stevens waited beneath it, takes it well. It was a beautifully directed up and under, but courageously taken by the Northwood fullback, and he wins the penalty. That was top work by the number 15, Jared Stevens.
Yeah, it was good play all around. It was a brilliant up and under that from Cameron Ritchie. Pinpoint accuracy, just landing 1 meter outside the 22, where you always want the up and under to finish up, and great courage there from Jaden Stevens.
So Van Kampen finds the line out for Northwood. Here it is again.
Yeah, great courage to go up and take that when you got the full Kearney pack screaming down on you.
So Northwood to feed their first line. Interestingly, number 6 flanker Human is going to be the feeder. Nicely taken, Trollop. And Northwood will look to set up a more. Here comes Human. They have the advantage. The knock-on is by Ntembu, who is going to be their principal ball carrier, but Northwood win another penalty, a technical one, but nonetheless, they can get field position from here.
That's obviously a tactic Northwood use. They would rather have Ntembu ball carrying in the back line, so they get their flanker to throw the ball in.
And he hasn't found touch. That's naughty. And using the wind to good effect, and there's no one home. It's a beautiful touch finder from Helen Waberski. It's driven Northwood all the way back, and you just can't make that sort of error, Butch. From a kick out of hand at a penalty, you've lost ground.
Yeah, sometimes guys always try to get a bit more too greedy with the ground. even if you just kick it out 10 meters, as long as you still got the possession.
Human, untidy ball, but it's one down by Fury. He has to go himself because the supply line to his fly-off is cut off and he's enveloped by the Kearsney number. And here will come Human. He will pick and go with Ntembu and Moyo at his shoulder. Up towards the northward 10 they go before they start once again. Keegan Sparks, the skipper, gains an inch or two, and they're keeping it close through Ntembu once again. But resolute defence from Kearsney as Northwood playing behind the gain line. Give away the penalty. And here's another opportunity for Kearsney to stretch the lead.
Yeah, it was a bit scrappy ball off the top of that line out. Forced Fury to have a go himself, and from there on, Northwood try to keep it close with their forwards just picking and going, but turned over by Kearsney. Good competing on the ground there.
Yeah, the body language of both sides graphically illustrates perhaps the mood of the camp in these first 10 minutes. Kearsney look confident, they look assured. Northwood are still perhaps a little nervous on a day such as this for these young men, their old boys' day on television for the first time, and perhaps they're still yet to find their feet, but they need to soon because they trail by 7. Could it be 10 as Tedder? That's what awaits him. It's a wobbly one, but it's still sound enough, and Kearsney lead by 10.
Yeah, had a bit of a fade on it, that kick, but did the job and got Kearsney another 3 points.
Well, as well as a physical, this is now a mental test for the home side. 10 points behind after 10 minutes, knowing the quality of the Kearsney outfit they face. They have a mountain to climb here as Van der Meijden goes deep. This time Dixon will carry once again, and he carries 2 men before brought down outside the 22. He's a giant of a youngster. Forster with a little dart. Nobody wants him. It's obstruction running, says referee Vermeulen. That's a bit of a bonus for the home side. Have they got a kicking option here?
Yeah, it was definitely on for Kearsney on the blind end. Just overrunning it. We're one of the forwards, forcing them into a bit of obstruction there.
Now you'd think in where they are, that's the 22, that they'd have a potted goal, but this is bold. They're just going to chip it into the line and try and set up the territory in the 22.
There we see Jason, sorry, that's not Jason Fury, that's Brendan Forster for Kearsney.
Tell them timing is
A bit of obstruction. Unlucky it was on for them on the blind there.
Barking the calls. Human goes. Nicely taken. And away they come for Human. Flat ball to Fury. Here's Ntembu, the ball carrier. And Hooker, the little Makuhula, gets in behind him. They need a quick release. They find it. Van Kampen away to Sparks. The big lock forward.
10 off, you lost it.
Philip Janssen is close at hand. Can Northwood reply here? The good counter-ruck from Kearsney. It's illegal, however, says referee Vermeulen. Fury comes away with it. Van Kampen steps and it gets caught behind the gain line. Fury on the loop shows good support, but Northwood will have to set and try again. Still having the advantage. Straight in front of the post, and now they will tap and go. They will carry through the forwards. Nalani and Moyo, the big props, and Tembu's in there as they keep it close at hand. Advantage still being played, one would imagine, by referee Vermeulen as Fury spins it away. Van Kampen with the little chip, the contest. Kearsney win it, so they'll come back for the penalty straight in front. Surely, Butch, they'll go for 3. Perhaps not straight in front.
Yeah, if the ref keeps going close to the sideline, I'm sure they might opt to go for the line out again. That was a good option from Northwood there. They had the advantage. I like the little dink over the top.
He takes a quick one. Tap takes everyone by surprise. Here's Human, but he's isolated. He needs support to arrive there. Here they go through Fury. Up to Ntembu. It's so close are the home side. The 16th man gets behind them. Fury again. Van Kampen loses it. But it's knocked forward by a Kearsney hand, and the chance goes a-begging.
Yeah, that was promising play from Northwood. I think maybe just the wrong option to send it to the back line, so close to the try line. As you see how the Kearsney defenders are able to rush up. And Just a little knock on there from Cameron Ritchie.
Well, the scrum has been good so far for the home side. They've got a useful short side to utilise should they want to.
Crouch.
More of the same required by the hosts, who trail by 10 after the early score by fly half Cameron Ritchie. And Tedder's boot has added the extra 5 points. So important for the home side to come away with something here into the wind. They've been in the 22 for a while now. Coach Bashford would definitely say you've got to get some points out of this. Here's Fury with the feet. The scrum is good. Very solid indeed. It's been carried by the number 8. He goes, the feet of Fury. The defense has read that. Dixon falls on the passing scrum half. Crunches him to the ground. Can Northwood come again? How patient do they remain? Picked up by the loosehead Nalani. Right in front of the Northwood support. No sign of it coming here. It may have been turned over. There's certainly no contest. Not a lot of energy there from Northwood. And Kearsney have stolen the ball back from Forster to Tedder. And he will find touch down that far side. And what an excellent touch it is.
Yeah, not too sure how that ball got
taken quick. Back to Mkadi. He steps. Referee not happy.
Yeah, judging that it was touched in the crowd by one of the spectators, so they weren't able to take the quick one. But good exit play there from Kearsney. Good steal on the ground and a good clearance by Tedder.
Victor Huurman. Up they go, and it's lost against the throw, claimed by Jared Meyer, so it's all gone wrong for the home side. Now Ritchie will use the breeze. Big right boot. He's kicked it right over the top. How will this bounce? It bounces for Jaden Stevens, and he sets off up to the 22 and sees a little hole which closes very quickly. Didn't really approach it with purpose, so they've lost an awful lot of ground, have the home side, and they have to set again and do all the work from just outside their own 22, and they've got the use it call from the referee. So presentation is important.
Use it or lose it.
It goes to ground, and they may yet lose it, and they have done so. It was quite plain from the referee what they had to do, and they couldn't present.
Yeah, and just a bit of indecision from Jaden Stevens at the back there for Northwood. Wasn't too sure if he wanted to kick it or pass it, and ended up having a run and getting turned over by the big Kearsney forwards.
Crouch. Midway through this first half, Kearsney leading by 10, and with a beautiful opportunity here to add. The scrum, the front rows pop up, but Forster goes short side again. But he's swamped there by the blindside flanker, and they will come again. Meyer carries it on as they keep it down that channel. Move. Very little room to work with. Forster up to Van Noordwijk. That's a famous Kearsney name. And it may have been turned over, but illegally so. And Kearsney will have a penalty, and they will take it quickly. Van Vuren caught them by surprise. Pops it up, and it looks like it's lost forward, but Northwood weren't back 10, so they will go again. Fancy Tedder will go for the line out, and then the rolling maul will follow, and there's an air of inevitability about proceedings here.
Yeah, not too sure what the original penalty was given for, but yeah, it's been good play from Kearsney. They've used the wind to get all the way down into Northwood's 22, and so there they've kind of looked more like a knock-on to me, not the penalty.
Who wants the ball as it's overthrown the top? Northwood the first to react. It's the diminutive number 8, Makahula. How do they get out of here? They go through the hand, and he's knocked it on. That was ill-advised. There's going to be Ritchie with the backhander here. Tedder gets it away. Oh, the referee's whistle goes for a double knock. But having won the turnover ball on the line-out, Northwood just don't seem to have the method to exit from the danger zone.
Yeah, I like that attitude to try to go, but there was no way that anything was on there. Kearsney had plenty of defenders in front of them, and they still try to run it. They should have just dropped back into the pockets and gotten out of there 22. They did well to turn the line out over, so get out of there.
The scrum has been fairly solid, but can they disrupt the Kearsney ball here? 5 meters out, ideal attacking position.
Safe.
That's a beautiful view from our camera on the 5 meter line. There's Forster with the feed. The pickup and in feed for Dixon is an easy score. That was beautifully done. You won't stop that man from that range. The pickup was from Brady Ehrlich, and it was just a little backhanded pass. Dixon, the try scorer, and Kersney have a very handy cushion.
Yeah, and a great little piece of skill there from Elrich. Little backflip into his captain. So old Natal move this. The Gary Teichmann days, they used to use this one and used to get the same result as well. Normally led to a try.
Worrying signs for the home side here. They need to show a lot of heart and a lot of courage here if this isn't going to be a big one. And it's not the sort of scoreline they'd want to see on their old boys' day. Tedder. Breeze at his back, just over his left shoulder. Hasn't missed as yet. 2 out of 2. Fairly deliberate technique. On his way. Beautifully struck indeed. 17 points to 0, Kersney after 20 minutes. The alarm bell's ringing for the hosts.
Elrich with just a little backflip. Sure, they've practiced that one many a time on the practice field as well, and you could see just with their reaction that they're pretty delighted that that one's come off.
Van der Meijden is getting a bit of practice here. That's beautifully taken out of the sky from Jared Meyer. Often in these school games we see the restart's a problem. That was well executed by the defenders. Back it goes to Tedder. And he thumps it downfield. Can't go direct to touch. The number 8 has dropped back. Here's Makahula. Speeds it away to Stevens. He goes across field now. Van Kampen. Little step. Looks for one inside. Stevens is the recipient. That's the best passage from Northwood for some while. They've reached the 10 meters line and they have to recycle again. Here's Mthembu. Doesn't get with much momentum, and it's well tackled by Nicholas Late for Kersney. And the ball's out, and well, the
second go.
Infringement was from a little earlier in the ruck, and a penalty to Northwood. Into the wind, probably beyond their compass, but they've shown no inclination to kick it post when on offer.
No, they'll have to chase the game now, 17-0 down, so going for the corner, but he's missed his touch again.
Oh, he's lucky. He's got out of jail there because there's a knock-on. That's sad for Kian War, right in front of the Northwood pupils. And it's lifting the spirits of the hosts now, because perhaps, just perhaps, they have an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a good result for Northwood. Their scrum's been really solid, so I'm sure they'd rather have a scrum there than the line-out.
Into the second quarter, and Kersney have been very polished. They've taken their opportunities when presented. They look like a drilled and disciplined outfit.
Come forward, your body. Crouch.
Handling errors.
Bye.
You'd expect Kersney with more ball to have perhaps had more opportunity to err. But they'll be very pleased with the scoreline. Referee Vermeulen having a few problems with the set of these two front rows.
Scrum 5 meters here. Crouch.
Trying once again. Nalani Mthembu and Moyo on the near side up against Late, Van Vuren and Van Noordwijk from Kersney. Kersney with that 33-kilogram advantage, but Northwood has certainly stood their man. Here's Fury. Away to Van Kampen. Van der Meijden. Van Kampen on the loop. A little bit of space. Jaden Stevens. Oh, and the last pass just fails to go to hand. And Kersney have turned it over. Jason Daniel was the intended recipient. Back it comes. This is Waberski with the left boot. He will scramble it away into touch. And Northwood just not finding the space to release Jason Daniel. And that was their best opportunity.
That was a great set-piece move from Northwood. And that pass nearly going to hand there. Just missing out on that was Jason Daniel. If he had got that in his hands, he was under the poles.
Huurman, the number 6 flanker, will feed the line out. And won by Janssen for Northwood, and they will roll it on. They've been game, have come to play, but the scoreboard is certainly counting against them as they have to play catch-up. Van Kampen, away to Van der Meyden. The inside ball to Mgadi, who trying to release it, has lost it forward. And Kearsley have an opportunity to attack from their 22. You'd expect the boot to be used. Here's Richie, he's got a big boot. Inside his 22, he has a burst. They've got some numbers. This is good work from Kearsley. Excellent running from the right wing and dumped to the ground by Mitchell Nesbitt. And there could be problems here. There could be problems here. Greater sanction awaits.
Let me explain what I saw.
Isn't a referee from Mueller?
Lifting the player, going through the horizontal, and the player making contact with his upper body first. Happiness. Yeah. All right, thank you. 11.
There's going to be problems here for Jason Daniel. They're already 17 down. Here's a card coming. It's
you lifted the player
yellow in colour, and I think perhaps he knew it was coming and just is probably happy that he didn't see a red one appear.
Yeah, it's just a pity he lifted him over the horizontal because it was a great hit. Got a nice shoulder onto his opposition, and yeah, just took it a bit too far. Otherwise, it would have been a brilliant tackle from him.
Well, down to 14 men, 17-0 down. It's really gone pear-shaped. Here's another look. Cover coming across. Daniel with the hit and the lift and the spear. Yeah. Yellow it is. You can see the touch judge's flag go out immediately.
Yeah, they do get quite worked up, the refs and linesmen, as soon as someone is in the air. So we saw it there from the linesman. It was decides to take him over the horizontal. Great defense from him.
So Kearsley with the numerical advantage now, the scoreboard advantage. Throws a poor one. Fury comes away. He just has to take the tackle, and Tembu's in to support him. And here comes Northwood. Keegan Sparks is isolated. Support slow in coming.
Advantage. Numbers. 9 coming in. Nobody going out.
No advantage, says the referee. A free kick going the way of Northwood.
I'm not too sure how the ref's saying the numbers, because it was Kearsley's ball, so they should have the short off.
They come to Northwood again through almost the solitary runner they have, the hooker in Tembu. Now, Kearsley palpably offside on that occasion. They don't want to give away penalties. Human goes. There's no one with him, though, so Kearsley quickly over the ball, but Northwood clear out nicely. Fury away to Van Kampen. They're up very flat. Van der Meyden. So Bartley behind the gain line. Intercepted by Kearsley and away. Another score. Northwood forcing the play. And it's an easy try for Luke Croshaw. Looking very, very bleak for the home side.
Yeah, Northwood trying to chase the game, taking a quick tap from that penalty. Better option definitely would have been to kick that down the line to a line out. And there they just started shoveling the rubbish to each other, and eventually sent it to Luke Croshaw, who crashed over for a good 40 odd meters try there.
22 points to nil, almost a point a minute. What can Keegan Sparks be saying to his men behind the posts? Because there's a lot of pride to play for in front of this packed house here at Northwood, as Tedder adds the extra 2, and 24 points to nil. The game is pretty much done and dusted.
Yeah, and when it does become such a big score like this, it's going to be hard for Northwood to use the wind in the second half. They're going to have to run everything to try and make up those points. So Kearsley have done well to take away the wind for the second half.
So 24 points to nil. Minutes ticking away in this first half. Van der Meyden goes deep again. No chaser onto that. Nesbitt up to Dixon, as you'd expect. The big fella carries beautifully and always presents in secure manner. Spun back to the right boot of Tedder, uses the wind well. Stevens has been one of the bright sparks of this Northwood side in the first half. Up to the little number 8, Makahula. He steps and goes into a wall of magenta on the halfway line. And Northwood will carry, and it's been robbed. Here come Kersney, but the pass is a little inaccurate to Van Vuren. A near head by Northwood. Ted is back, it's still untidy. Certainly Kersney are there more in number though, and away comes Forster. Nesbitt caught inside his own territory, and Northwood through Human have stolen the ball, but they do seem to be not there in number on occasion. Northwood, when they have opportunity to utilize the ball. It's a bit static. Fury digs. Away to Van Kampen. He toes it through. Finds a territory in the 22, but has turned over the ball.
Now there wasn't too much on there for Northwood. So, yeah, they are giving away the possession, but a good option from him. Maybe put a bit of pressure on this line-out, try to steal it. And then they can start up their attack again.
Well, they certainly have spirited on that far side there when they're trailing 24 points to 0. As you'd expect, nice and secure to number 2. Ryan Jackson is the recipient of Van Vuren's delivery, and Kersney will maul it out of the danger zone. That's a penalty given for collapsing the maul.
See why.
Yeah, it was a clear collapse there from Gugu Nalani.
Siege gun boot of James Tedder has been used to good effect already in this first half, and not only has it distance, but it has accuracy as well.
I think that little man there, Viwe, I think he makes up that. Kersney got the 33 kgs weight advantage in the scrum. I think that's all down to the Northwood number 8.
Van Vuren. Easy take for Jared Meyer. Down to Forster. Ritchie, intelligently using the wind, finds a lot of space. Acres of space, and uses it to great effect, driving Northwood back into their 22.
Yeah, that's where Jason Daniels should be, but he's not there because he's behind the poles, sitting out his yellow card. So great play there. Well read there from Cameron Ritchie, picking up that they're missing their wing and putting it into that space.
Here's another look at why Jason Daniels off the field. Yellow was inevitable. Perhaps even red may have been considered. Human, over the top it goes. Nicely taken by the skipper, Keegan Sparks, brought to ground immediately.
No!
Now will Northwood run as they seem bent on doing? Mthembu took it absolutely stationary, but still shows the strength and power to drive outside the 22. So presents nicely for Fury. Van Kampen up to his Dutch teammate, Van der Meyden. But again, it all looks a little bit staccato, no real flowing here. So Fury eventually does resort to the boot. And beneath it is Waberski with lots of space, lots of time. Nesbitt outside him, he doesn't use it. He steps infield before being brought to ground. But away comes the left winger, Kian War. Still they go, Kersney. Inches away from the line now. Will this be a fourth score? Held up short. Northwood desperate to hold them out in the last minutes of the first half as Forster goes. Try again to Kersney. Try number 4. Handshakes all round from a very confident and assured Kersney side. Brendan Forster getting in for the try, and it was as easy as this.
Yeah, I think it's actually Brady Ulrich who crashed over there, the number 8. It was all started though from Cullen Waberski with a great run from him at the back there, and stepping a few players as well as the offload. I think the offload made it.
Yes.
So apologies to Brady Ehrlich. Another name on the board along with Croshaw, Dixon and Ritchie. Tedder's name has been on many times because he's been unerring with the boot. What a day for the home side. So much expectation. They knew it would be a tough assignment, but they certainly would have hoped it would have turned out better than this. To take Kersney into the 30s, nicely struck, but this time he pushes it wide. So 29 points to 0 as halftime approaches.
Yeah, he's also not the biggest fellow for number 8 is Brady Ulrich, but he certainly does do a lot of work around the field, and he's got a good skill set as well. We saw a little backflip that led to Dixon's try. Now he's using a bit of strength as well to crash over for his own.
Van der Meijden goes the other way, and the execution isn't great. Tedder, thinking of kicking, sets them off on the left. Kian Wall hauled down by Ngadi from behind. Ball's gone backwards. Kearsley have been very efficient in this first half. Northwood have made sufficient error from which they could prosper, but they've been solid in the line-out, have good ball carriers and skill. It's purely just been good execution, good discipline, and they lead by that massive margin.
Yeah, they really are well drilled and well coached, Kearsley. They do all the basics really well. So from the kickoffs, getting their jumpers up and taking the ball nice and cleanly out there. And as well as their placement and their work on the ground once they've been tackled is really good to see.
7, 7, 7, 6, 5 shots.
Keegan Sparks down to Fury. Van Kampen up to Makahula. You wouldn't expect him to be the robust ball carrier, and the counter ruck comes from Kearsley, and that really was good defense. Not sure the selection of the ball carrier for Northwood, the lightest man in the pack, and they just counter ruck drilled over him and gave away the penalty.
Maybe that's their plan. They think there's no way the smallest man on the field is going to get the ball. Try give it to him, see if no one's marking him.
So Tedder just thumps it into touch, and half-time will go, and it's a half that's belonged unequivocally to Kearsley College. The visitors have been proficient here in outscoring the host 4 tries to 0. The match in itself as a contest has just about been put away by the clinical nature of this Kearsley performance. Sad afternoon so far for the hosts on their Old Boys Day, but Kearsley Butch are full value for this 29 points to 0 lead. So that's the situation. 4 tries to 0, outscoring the hosts. Kearsley lead by 29 points to 0.